Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Georgia. Because for a whole lot of people, Georgia's going to be on their mind. Either today or tomorrow, depending on when you're watching this, Tuesday, there will be a proceeding. And that proceeding will give us a pretty good indication, should give us a pretty good indication, of how things will advance in Georgia and what is going to happen in relation to that long-running investigation into the alleged election interference by Trump and team. There's a hearing, and this hearing will determine whether or not the special grand jury report, special purpose grand jury report, becomes public. This report makes recommendations, doesn't issue an indictment. The DA, she's had it for 2 weeks, so she's probably already made up her mind. During this proceeding, the expectation is that she's going to speak. From what she says, we might get a really clear picture of what can happen, even if the report isn't released. If it is released, we'll get a good look. Right now, what most people know is that phone call. Find me the votes, that phone call. The majority of people watching this channel have their opinion of what that is. And it is Trump asking for votes, asking them to interfere with the vote count, or at the bare minimum, interfering with an election officer in the course of their duties. That's how most people see it. We don't know what was uncovered during the investigation. There may be exculpatory evidence. There may not be. There may be stuff that's even worse. We don't know. They have been very quiet. But they're done now. Maybe we get a glimpse of it very soon. If not, we might be able to make some inferences based on how the prosecution handles the hearing. It is worth noting that Trump's team will not be there. They have taken the stance that, they weren't asked to participate in this at any point in time, so they don't need to be there today. Okay. The big question that people have about this is, well, what comes after this? Either everything or nothing. This is the end of the investigation process by most conceivable scenarios. Odds are that the next real developments will be this case going away or indictments. This is the find out portion of the proceedings. I'm talking about us being able to find out what's going on. There are a lot of expectations, but until we see the report, they're very speculative. So we're going to have to wait and see that. It will remain a mystery. Aside from the legal aspects, you have to consider the political aspects. If this occurs, if Trump and team is indicted, or there are charges related to this that eventually may end up at Trump's door, it's obviously big news, and it is going to throw a lot of dominant headlines right now into the recycling bin of the news cycle. They'll be gone. It's also worth noting that if Trump is indicted, it'll be the first time that a former president's been indicted. It will undoubtedly cause a disruption within the GOP. What is interesting about this is all occurring at the state level. And many of the mechanisms that might want to protect the institution of the presidency, those exist in D.C., not in Atlanta. So there's probably a better shot of something moving forward at a state level case. And we're going to get to see what happens today, at least hopefully get a better picture. Now, it's also worth noting that this DA's office, that they've been pretty quiet. They're not telegraphing a lot of their moves. So if the report remains sealed and we don't get to see it, and they're careful in their arguments, then we may walk away knowing no more than we know right now. But for those who constantly feel that things aren't going anywhere, the Georgia case has been quietly moving along, and we're nearing the end of it. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.